This is the story of my '89 Jeep Comanche restoration. So it started as a white 4-wheel drive, 5-speed 4-wheel drive, short bed Comanche with a 4-liter. Really was nothing special truck. Very base model actually. Vinyl flooring, solid rear window, but it was a Florida truck, so it was fairly clean. Here we've got some pictures of it shortly after I got it. Right away I got started on the rust repair on the bed. Needed some work above the wheel openings like most pickups do. So we cut all the rust out here, butt welded new stuff in. As you can see here, this was 2018 when I was working on this. And then new metal right in where the rusty stuff was. Got the bed primed. That's pretty much where I stopped for the summer due to time. Had to go back to school. So then here we've just got some more pictures of the bed in primer. That year I was able to find a set of doors off a super clean 1984 Cherokee. So I got those swapped on because mine were damaged and a little rusty, or my driver's door was. For Christmas I got money for tires, so I got a set of 31 1050 15s. And then that spring I found a good deal on a tailgate, then started working on the body. So these are the floor pans, and that vinyl flooring just traps rust, especially in these Cherokees and Comanches where the floors are already known to rot out. This one had some crash damage in the rocker panel and cab corner too, so we just cut all that out and replaced that. Here's how much of the floor we had to cut away on the driver's side. We're test fitting some new metal. Then it all gets sandblasted, primed with a weld-through primer. And then butt welding new metal in, welded all the way around, new spot welds. You can see that in this picture too, with the rocker going in. And then everything got a coat of chassis saver, which is a rust stopping and encapsulating paint, and then everything got covered with Dynamat. And it is quiet inside because of that Dynamat. Did the back wall of the cab and the entire floor pan, along with inside the B-pillars and doors some. I also built a heavy-duty custom front bumper out of a DIY kit on Amazon. We are body working the doors, and my stock hood had some hail dents, so I found a decent deal on this red hood. Got a new cab corner welded in and sandblasted the rocker panel. Started doing body work on that. See more body work on the cab on the passenger side now. And this is as far as we took it apart almost. We had it a little bit farther than that. Fenders were primed, cab primed. We got the doors primed. Everything was primed off the truck, so there's no tape lines anywhere on it. Here we've got the paint color I ended up going with. It is brilliant blue metallic, which Chrysler used from 94 to 97. In these pictures here, you can see how metallic-y and how much that color changes in the light. It's a pretty neat color. We've got the cab done, doors hung back on it. I hit the fuel tank with that chassis saver product too, just to help protect it. Got the bed done. You can see I didn't do inside the bed. That got a Raptor liner, spray-in bed liner. Next up was undercoating the rear frame part. And then we got the tailgate painted. And bumpers and axles and suspension components, the hitch, all got sandblasted and then painted black. We've got that Raptor spray and bed liner I was talking about. inside the bed and then on the inside of the tailgate. Bed going back on. And this is all a week before I had a goal to try to get it to a local car show. So these are the wheels and tires I ended up going with. It's those 31s I got, along with a set of aluminum wheels my dad had laying around. And I also swapped in a Ford 8.8 rear end with 410 gears and a limited slip to upgrade from the Dana 35 with an open and 307 gears that it had. And then I also put a 410 Dana 30 in the front. It's got 3-inch front lift coil springs in the front and stock springs in the rear for now. And then this was it, the day of the show. Here's it shortly after. Or this is the day of the show too. This is it posing with my dad's LS 5-speed YJ. Got another picture of it. And then here it is after the show with the YJ. Nice little size comparison with the Colorado ZR2. And just some nice photos of it in the sun. Here we've got, this was at a party we had, JK, a JT Gladiator, and then my dad's YJ along with the Comanche. You can really see in this picture how much flex that truck has. I did have the front sway bar disconnected in these shots, and there's no rear sway bar. And now here we've got some pictures of it next to some stock Gladiators. It really shows the size difference between the Comanches and the Gladiators. The Comanche's a much smaller truck. And then it went in storage for the 2019-2020 winter. It's my Boland's Garden tractor next to it. In March, the roads were all clean, but there was still some snow banks, but I got it out, played on a snow bank. This is it later. This is all right before the shutdown in March of 2020 for COVID. Here it is flexing with the front sway bar still attached. You can see the rear end's putting in a lot more work than the front end is in terms of flex. We've got another shot with the Bolands here. And then I finally made a bastard pack in the rear to lift the rear 3 inches too, because it was sitting about level, but I used this thing as a truck, so I like to have the rear end up a couple inches higher. Here you can see it towing the Bolands. And then it got stripes, the correct sport truck stripes, because this truck was originally a sport truck, which was just a decal package for the base models. Also had a tonneau cover on it that I got for Christmas. Got those stripes fresh after they were installed. And then some pictures of my dad's YJ, my mom's JK that was bought wrecked, and then the Comanche. The Comanche did have a rod knock though, so I pulled an engine out of a Cherokee, sandblasted it, and then painted it. It's a Mitsubishi color, but it's really close to AMC blue. It's an acrylic enamel, single stage. Came out pretty good. Didn't get it in yet. Here we've got a picture of it at a show and some fall pictures of it. Here we've got some shots of it flexing. This is with the front sway bar hooked up and the bastard pack in the rear, so I only added a leaf and it still flexed really well. Now this is the 3 Jeeps from earlier plus my brother's J10 Honcho. Then it was time for the engine swap. So front of the truck came off, engine started coming out. We got the engine out, then it was time to pull all the wiring and get all the aluminum bits sandblasted so those could get painted too. Here we've got the engine mated to my AX15 transmission that I installed at the same time. Pressure washing the engine bay in the winter. In Wisconsin, that is not fun at all, but it had to be done. It's a truck, so you might as well use it to store all of its own parts. We've got the engine and transmission, along with the old engine and transmission. Here I am painting the valve cover and intake manifold, just some silver single stage. And then it was time to put it back together. The engine bay got painted black at the same time. And then, because I got distracted, I bought another Comanche. Actually, I had a really good reason to buy this one. It was cheap, about an hour and a half away, but it had a factory sport bar, which you can see in the bed, and a new old stock tailgate. I don't have the new old stock tailgate on a truck. For now, it is simply a decoration, but it is really cool. And this was it going back together after the engine swap. You can see how well everything came together and how good it all looked. We've got the two Comanches by each other, and I didn't have a spot to put that second Comanche, so that one just sat outside with Christmas lights on it because it was December. Yep, we're those people. The blue Comanche back in winter storage with my dad's YJ. And after the engine swap, got some pictures of it with my other Comanche. Now that other Comanche was an 88. And a couple weeks later, I bought a 90. So I had an 88, an 89, and a 90. All 4-liter, 5-speed, short bed, 4-wheel drive trucks for a brief time. Now this is me jumping that
It's not supposed to yet.
90
It's got to get turned
because it
around
was
first.
so rough. Not worth putting it back on the road. Surprisingly, it actually soaked up the jump pretty well. It didn't really hurt inside, and I hit it at, I believe, 26 miles an hour. Got pretty good air. And that second Comanche, that 88, also came with a front skid plate, which I installed on mine. I also installed the sport bar with a couple of off-road lights in the bed, which meant the tonneau cover had to go, but it really made this truck look a lot better. We've got it in town. The Comanche, JK, and YJ all lined up. Two decent Comanches, the blue one and the 88, backed up next to each other. And this was me moving my horde of Comanche parts into the back of the 88. Nice little size comparison with a Tacoma. And some off-road poser shots. I built this truck to off-road, and at this point it still had never gone, but we've got some trails and trees on our property where I can make it look like it's been off-road. And a nice guy in a Jeep TJ here wanted to talk about the Comanche. Sold the 88, put the topper on it from the 90. And here we've got my Comanche along with my cousin's 72 Le Mans GT. And it got ducked one night. This is actually the only duck I've received in it. Got a fuel tank from a friend of mine. He's AMC Jeep 2.5 liter here on YouTube. This is it after I got the Eagle back. Here we've got the Comanche, the J10, and the Eagle all in the shop. The Comanche did have a cracked dash, and it's a blue interior truck, so I had to find a dash for it. I ended up getting a gray dash and then dyeing it the correct blue using SEM color coat, which I've got here. Dash I'll put back together. Got a full gauge cluster in it now too. And then I tried to road trip it to Pennsylvania for a Jeep show. It made it 40 miles and it overheated because the radiator was clogged. Used it for tow and trailer, some generators for Cornfest event. Nice little night shot of it. And this was at the local tech school where the transmission got rebuilt. And some more late summer, early fall photos, this time with the Eagle too. The Comanche is my summer car, the Eagle was my winter car. Then I bought a Chevy 348, used the Comanche to go get it because it's a truck. And then I got a chrome front end for the truck, so chrome bumper, and then a chrome 10-slot grill, which isn't correct for the year, but I think it looks way better. Got a bored throttle body for it, just give it a little bit more power, and it looked a whole heck of a lot better than the original one too. Here was a side-by-side comparison. Got that one on. It looks a lot better on the nicely painted engine. This was actually my 4th Boland's Garden tractor that I got, just the only one I had in the bed of that truck. The whole chrome front end on, and some YJ Comanche and JK shots again. Some nice pictures of the whole chrome front end put together. Really made the blue pop a lot more in the front. Now it was time to give the interior some more attention. I put a vinyl flooring back in it and just didn't like it. It never fit right. So I got an Auto Custom Carpets carpet kit, and my headliner didn't look nice. I put in a 4-pane C.R. Lawrence sliding rear window that was in that 90 parts truck. Here we've got a shot of the headliner. It was gross. So I covered it up with some kind of a fun pattern here. Then it was time for the AMC Homecoming in Kenosha in 2022. I drove the Comanche there. My parents towed the Eagle. This Comanche has no air conditioning, no cruise control, and 410 gears. The best I got was actually 20 miles per gallon on that trip at interstate speeds. I was very surprised. Here we are in Kenosha. It's about a 4-hour trip, and that's a long ways with no cruise control. But it didn't skip a beat, did very, very well. Some photos with Lake Michigan and the Eagle. This is Alfano Performance in Kenosha. Had to get pictures with the AMC sign. Some more Lake Michigan here. And a little bit more Alfano Performance on the corner of 34th Avenue and Roosevelt Road. Some more pictures from Kenosha. There were actually a few Comanches there, and I met another Comanche guy. It was pretty nice. He actually came from out east. It was cool to see somebody coming from so far away there. Photo of my Comanche and my brother's J10, and then I left for school in the fall of 2022. 2023 saw some wheeling for the truck, finally. driving up where you're standing. Now, to be expected, the truck got dirty, got a couple scratches wheeling. This was before washing it, but it shows that it got some pinstripes pretty good, but they're so hard to see now that it's been cleaned, and a nice little light polish would take care of it. I did smack the diff, as you can see here. There was a couple of JKs and a Comanche. Got some still photos of the wheeling trip. It did pretty good. Those 410s in first gear, the thing would crawl up super well. And here's a car show at a friend's. I drove the Oliver, my parents drove my Comanche for me, and my brother drove his J10. If you want to see more stuff, subscribe, like, comment if there's anything you want to see. We could put a video together on that J10, could put a video together on the Oliver, on the Boland's collection. Just let me know.